Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate you for tuning in live, listening to replay. You know, you might seem like, oh man, who's listening? But I definitely appreciate you listening. Appreciate anyone that you share this with. Appreciate you for hitting the like button. Definitely hit the like button so we can continue to grow the channel. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button. This is Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. So here we go. This is The Vault, episode 524. Putting a lien on your name. This has been a long awaited episode for many reasons. Many people have reached out for years asking about putting a lien on their name in indirect ways and indirect ways. So we're going to say this is one of those episodes that always comes by request. It always comes by having conversations and consultations in the private. This is Trust Christian in the Vault, episode 524, putting a lien on your name. Definitely want to thank everybody that came to the workshop publicly. We'll definitely post some testimonials from the last workshop. We definitely appreciate everyone that came to the workshop. It's interesting because when you have families come to the workshop, it's always a case where usually families are putting it together. Sometimes you get the individuals, you definitely do. You do. But we have a lot of families for years now. So, we're back at it. Putting a lien on your name. This is an episode that comes from people talking about the birth certificate. We're going to talk about that today because that's what they're talking about. They're talking about putting a trademark on their name. I mean, we could sit here for hours and talk about this. Oh, it's a security agreement. It's an indemnity agreement with all these different things, names, whatever people want to call it. But we're going to stick to the old adage, your name. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I got a name, the government. This is the first argument that we thought about when people bring up this argument, which is, oh, the citizens owe the government money. Now, that's very odd. It's very odd to know that. Because that would mean that the politicians that say that are in debt too. They're citizens as well. And why would we be in a negative boat? So we're not going to be planning to be in a negative boat. Plan to be in a positive boat, a productive boat. Putting a lien on your name. Is this a proactive position? Sure, it's a proactive position. Some people say, "Oh man, well, what am I putting a lien on? Putting a lien on the all caps or the lowercase or the proper spelling? Does it matter?" See, this is where the game gets twisted. You think if you infringe upon Nike's trademark, it matters if you have it in the upper or the lowercase? Yeah, I think it does a little bit. This is the argument you hear. So we're sitting here and we're saying, okay, we're pretty confident. Not only can you not infringe upon the spelling upper or lower, you can't infringe upon the trademark itself that means the same thing in words. That's called a logo. So putting a lien on your name, we're not putting a lien on the logo, which we can. Which we can. It's property. Just like the name is property. So people come at the situation sometimes where, oh, I'm going to put a lien on my birth certificate. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's trusteeship. It's trust Christian, own not to control everything. When you're in that position of trusteeship, of course, it's not your name. It's just things that we control, ladies and gentlemen. These are assets. Is it an asset? It's that simple. Is it an asset? Okay, it's an asset. It's a piece of property. Oh wow, people thought they were slick. This is how they got fooled. You know how many people lost thousands upon thousands, maybe even millions. The community collectively. Why? Because they tried to put a lien on the uppercase name with the lower and or proper spelling of it, like it made a difference. They got fooled. They got bamboozled. Really? Does it work that way? Definitely doesn't work that way. Remember, it's a piece of property, so why wouldn't you, quote unquote, you want to put a lien on the upper and the lower? Why would you just put a lien on the upper? And the guy's got literally three, four, five bands. Easy. Just like that off people. Just like that. Just because they, oh, if you follow with the proper way to spell it, everything's gonna be good. Really? Okay. So once again, it's a piece of property. If the family trust, if the family estate was putting a lien on those names, which it sounds pretty proper. It's not legal advice, financial advice, but it sounds pretty proper. Putting a lien on those names, okay, sounds a little bit different because they're moving in a capacity that is property. It's not their property. They trust Christian, no, not to control everything. That's what they do. Putting a lien on their name. They didn't put a lien on their names personally, like the first generation people that are over the internet reading the redemption manuals. No, they're not putting a lien on their names. The family estate is putting a lien on their names that they might operate in the public for maybe for NIL purposes, for character purposes. Putting a lien on your name. This is where the public, not to say it's wrong, it's definitely not wrong in any respect. It's more, what are you looking for? What's your taste? What's your appetite? What's your training? Think about that. Your training. Second generation knows it's not in their name. First generation may have a challenge with that. Unless they are the first gen, which should be the strongest. Whether you all know it or not, it should not be the other way around. The great families, they just do their best to hold a high level of consistency together, of best practices. Whereas you get families come across now and they're acting like, oh, wow, maybe the second or third is hopefully going to be better than the first. Usually, the first gen actually builds the most amount of wealth. And until you've seen it three and four and five generations deep, seven generations deep, when you have over 80 plus family members, 100 plus family members that the family estate's taking care of literally, what are you going to do? When you're taking care of 20 plot properties, what are you going to do? This is where people say, oh, wow, how do you do anything? You're gone. So let's get back to this lien topic. This is one of those things where some people could say, if you understand lien, UCC, some people could say, well, a lien is supposed to be the highest level of creditor and debtor relationship in the public right now. Sincerely actually represents that, whether people know it or not. One of the highest levels, can traditionally move about easily in civil court with these type of contracts. They're actually contract protectors, because it's not to say everybody, ladies and gentlemen, contract makes the law. Also, if you take it in, they're going to ask you guys to mediate the contract. If you can't mediate the contract, then you fall into those higher level principles of the contract that you guys are trying to template off of, which is UCC, creditor and debtor type template. That's what people are using. We know the game. Oh, you're going to put a lien on what? You're going to put a lien on U.S. property? Did you create that document? Did your family create that document? Did your family trust create that document? Everybody, see, people think they can come to the vault. They'll come to the vault. This is sincerely from the heart. They come to the vault. Oh man, even if they don't put a lien on it, they didn't create anything privately. And then not only that, are you bringing bonds out? They're trying to bring bonds out. What do you know about bonds? Because this is what we're going to say. We've done an interview on the vault with a securities agent. In the private, we have an ex-securities agent that we work with. Many of them, it's not hard to find these people, but we're aware. If you don't find them, we're aware. At the end of the day, if people are issuing bonds from their private family estate, okay, here we go. They always get back to that term surety. Who's really the signature? Oh, and this is where a lot of the times, a lot of people got caught. Oh, well, my signature creates the credit. My signature creates the money. My signature, okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we just mentioned that there were people that did their best. They came to us, they talked to us about these things. They put liens on their birth certificate. How do you put a lien on something that you didn't create? You're acting like they're the creator of. So they'll have an argument. It wouldn't have been created if it wasn't for me. Fair enough. Uh, Here we go. The game is control, not ownership. But see, when people get in these positions, do they know how to operate as a fiduciary? I want to put a lien. You want to put a lien on something, but don't know how to operate as a fiduciary. So this is incumbent upon individuals to learn, basically learn business. This is no doubt about it. If the employee mindset doesn't work with a creditor mindset, and it's just the bottom line. The owner gets the loan, and guess what? The employee pays it off. That's how that goes. Through working with customers. While people think the owner sits back, they don't. But, you know, nevertheless, let's stick to this putting the lien on your name. So, okay, how do you put a lien on your name? Is it the family estate? Is it another person? Oh, we seen a couple recently come through. Oh, I put a lien on my husband's name, and she put this is vice versa in a relationship. Oh, she put a lien on my name, so I'm the beneficiary of hers, and she's the beneficiary of mine. So we're not the direct beneficiaries of the situation. Why you think they dodging that, ladies and gentlemen? Why do you think someone's dodging being the beneficiary of their name? It's not rocket science. Because these fools aren't too much, because these aren't too much of a fool. They understand it is business, it's not personal. So they understood that it was business and it wasn't personal. But you guys are married. You're dang near in a common law marriage. A common law marriage puts people in a position where we could break down the situation in so many terms in the public about that situation that we encountered. Nevertheless, if families are families, maybe some people say sharing a last name, living in the same abode, dwelling in the same abode. That's what they're doing. They're in the same environment, so it's almost like using the same business address. And they're doing more than just using the same business address. They're beneficiaries of each other's trust that's at the same business address. That's how it sounds. So putting a lien on your name. Well, when we talk about putting a lien on your name, who's going to put that lien on the name? That's one of the first things we want families to address. If you want to reach out to the vault to get more clarity on that, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. This is definitely a topic that people have reached out for years about. Oh, I want to put a lien on my birth certificate. I want to put a lien on this. Here we go. The social is putting a lien on the social. How do you put a lien on a number? They're putting a lien on the number and all the transactions because there were some hidden transactions that they don't know about, or the banks did some hidden transactions on the number. The banks did hidden transactions on it. And fees, maybe. You're right. And oh, I want to collect those fees. People want to collect those fees. It's literally what they want to do. They reach out to the vault. I want to collect on the fees, or I don't want them to collect on the fees and make me pay interest on the property. Sounds like a fair enough plan. Sounds like a fair enough plan. So some people may know how to acquire and protect assets, manage those assets, and grow those assets. Putting a lien on your name, what benefit is that? What benefit is that, Trust Christian in the Vault? Well, you say, if you have a lien, if the family estate has a lien, it sounds like asset protection over how you're moving out here, your name, image, and likeness. But how many people are just focused on the money? You're focused on the money. Why do you think they putting a lien on the name? Because they want some form of asset protection. But they know they didn't do it the proper way. They didn't put it in the proper entity from the beginning. They didn't know, oh, well, the proper term taking over the business term, it's the same thing. Is it not? Because you are, you are the one that's putting a lien on it. So we can talk about this ad nauseum to people. Feel free to type into the chat any questions you have. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button so you can get the pop-up episodes. We're definitely doing an episode with Dr. Bay tomorrow. It's going to be a spiritual Sunday episode. Might do it at 11:11. Do it around the 10 or 11 hour of the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Easiest place for everybody to remember. So definitely going to be doing something with Dr. Babe, particularly on that day. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, putting a lien on your name. This is one of those things people have reached out for years and asked about. Oh, well, I'm gonna put a lien on my name. Now I got a debt encumbrance on my name. So you have a debt encumbrance on the name. You think that's gonna look good in the public when the name has a debt on it for $1 billion? It's not like you. Here we go. Let's go ahead and chop it up real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's chop it up. We're gonna chop it up with y'all because they've been wanting Trust Christian to talk about this for a long time. So we're gonna chop it up with y'all. So let's chop it up. So you got a lien out on your name now. $100 million. Bam. Let's take the easy number. This is first generation. Well, they coming out the gate. We know what $100 million going to do for us. So we need $100 million. Some people go for the billion. There's not too many because they ain't never going to see that number. But we're going to say 100 million because this is a great generational wealth number. So I got a lien on my name for the $100 million. Okay. So are they going to go get a property now? Okay. There's a lien on the name. There's actually a major debt encumbrance. We're going to tell how people do it on the public side with the corporations. They do revolving lines of credit. Do you have a revolving line of credit on $100 million, or is it just a closed line of credit? That means that have you showed that you paid down 100 million? Has the name showed that it's paid down $100 million in debt? It just hold on. It has a debt encumbrance, but it doesn't show that it has a credit history of paying down these debts. This is what they trick people into tomfoolery over the internet. You're putting a lien on your name, so now it shows a debt encumbrance. It doesn't show a debt payment. You can do that though. People do that on the public side. They do that through revolving lines of credit, reporting those updates. They report those updates quarterly. Do you report on the lien quarterly? Do you report on the lien at all a yearly, or you just wait for it to get ready to expire and then you update it? Or are you actually updating it with property, miscellaneous charges? How many people are actually updating this in trustworthy fashion where they're actually keeping minutes for the lien, which means that the debt's being paid? Oh no, I can't believe that. Hold on. I thought I was just going to put a lien and I'm going to open a debt encumbrance. Right? That is a debt encumbrance on the name. How's that helpful? Is it showing that it has a debt servicing? See how that sounds? When you go into a bank, it's called debt servicing. So when we go into banks and they say, "Oh, let's look at the name." Oh, we actually can pull up that this thing has 100 billion, whatever it is, $100 million revolving line of credit. It's being paid off occasionally. It actually hasn't been using more than $50,000 a year credit, or however much more. But oh no, no. Do we hear people come with that type of thought process? Not necessarily. They come with this thought process, well, if I just open up, let's talk about it. A promissory note? Which is a promissory note different from a lien? Yes. A promissory note is not a lien. This is the facts. This is why trustees, when they come through, we tell them, hey, Black's Law Dictionary is going to serve you well. Oh, I'm going to open up a promissory note on a name, though. So you open up a promissory note on a name. That's not a lien. It can that creditor and debtor lien situation display in detail a promissory note? Definitely. Just like it displays the levels of revolving credit that or credit extensions that it has from a particular organization or otherwise. Putting a lien on your name? They wanted people to put a lien on their name in the public. This is the internet, not necessarily one particular organization. It's just the internet. Oh, we're gonna put a lien on the name. Okay. I mean, if you want to go to any type of organization that says put a lien on your name, first of all, this is out of family. That's not family. We just mentioned how this goes in the private. The family estate puts the lien on the name. It's not hard. It's simple. I don't know how I do that, Trust Christian involved. I gotta get a trust. What I gotta do? I gotta get a, can a corporation do it? And then we go back to what's a person. So that's why the trickery with the names, the uppercase and lowercase, it's almost de minimis. It's not that important when it comes to the grand scheme of things in the business world right now. You see companies have the upper and lowercase all the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's just the powers that be are not going to allow a name, upper or lower, to be issued twice. Putting a lien on a name. So, but then we also get to where addresses are tied for more security purposes and things of that nature. Putting a lien on a name. Putting a lien on a name. This is one of those things we would say, oh man, you afraid to say to the United States that you as a citizen owe a debt, or that any citizen owe a debt. Well, if you put a lien on the citizen first, how does the states have a lien first? It's that simple. Sometimes people need you to elaborate, go over the fluffy stuff, give all these what analogies at this point. It's first in time, first in line. Where are you at? Where's your family estate in line? Uh-oh, my family estate. We talked about that for years. Putting your oh man, I gotta take my name. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. You've been groomed in the public to own something. And that's why they want to put a lien on their name. Oh man, I don't mind that I'm a person. I don't mind that the name is a corporation. I just need to put a lien on it personally because I need to be in control. Right. That's what they're saying. I need to put a lien on it myself because I need to be in control. No, you don't. I mean, no, no, no. They don't say in control. Excuse us. They say ownership. They need to own the name. And they definitely don't speak about it in control terms. So we're here to say, put a lien in your name. It sounds like some public trickery. And even if we say, oh, trust Christian Vol, how much more could you be saying when you say the family estate? Ladies and gentlemen, for he who has ears, he will hear. We've had workshops for years. We appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com is the email you can reach out to. We still get people reaching out all the time. Still people reaching out for consultations. Feel free to reach out, get a consultation. Christian at trustchristian.com. We got Dr. Bay coming up on Sundays, and as well, we think we're going to pull them off Monday, but we'll definitely pull them off Sunday. Spiritual Sundays, having some conversations with Dr. Bay coming your way. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings.